Good morning, friends. I'm Masha Hemmerling from PPP and 10 Panel Inspirational Online Art Studio, and I am going to do my last before Thanksgiving break live broadcast, and I have prepared a big list of helpful articles and videos for you that will, oops, my microphone is away, that will help you to encourage and inspire your children or art students or your friends who don't like art and who are at time of their life when they are choosing career, when they will be choosing the path that they will take, and maybe that path in their life is not going to be anything even near to art or creativity. But today I would like to share with you that list of links that will talk about and encourage children to pay more attention during the art classes, to be more alert about creativity, and to be more appreciative and respectful of visual arts, performing arts. And I started that list, and this list seriously can go on and on and on. This list can be expanded for, I don't know, multiple pages, because thank God there with new day technologies we have helpful information at our fingertips. We can go online and research if we have time and desire, and find any information we need. And very important to pay attention to the resources that you're using, and it's very important to read those articles and still have your opinion, agree or disagree. And maybe if you agree and you feel you know, in your guts that it is right, it's correct, it's true, to pass this information on to somebody else. So few weeks ago, one art teacher posted on one Facebook page a plea for help. She asked other art teachers to give her some ideas how to inspire her high school students, who are mostly boys, to participate in art, to like art, to be, you know, part of the art lesson, and not to be so negative about art. And she had so many helpful tips pour in her comments to her post. I also gave her my list, which was a little bit smaller at that time. I grew that list since those few weeks has passed. And some people even replied to that post and liked that post. I hope they will find that post helpful. That's why I actually decided to share it with you, because maybe my viewers can find it helpful as well. Now, I did approach from a different perspective, and instead of giving her another idea of art lesson that can inspire those young adults, I gave a list of information and the list of articles and videos that can inspire children who think, oh, who cares about art? I'm going to be a doctor. Or who's saying, who cares about art? I want to be a, let's see, not medical student, I'm sorry, I already mentioned that. I will be a businessman, I will be an engineer, I want to serve my country and go into the military service, or I want to be a law enforcement or in technology field. So that's why I thought, you know what, maybe when kids reach the point in their life when they're in a high school, they are probably already bombarded by information, questions, where are they gonna go, which college they're gonna attend and apply to, what they want to be in their life, what they're leaning towards. So I was thinking from that perspective, and I thought, you know what, I will research as many fields as I can, and I will see how art and many forms can enrich those professions, and how art can help. And I found multiple resources. I found very trustworthy resources and sources that can provide legit information, and I will refer you to those sources. I'm still waiting for them to reply to me. I told them, hey, is that okay if I will mention your link and your article or your video in my live broad stream? I'm sorry, live broadcast. I'm still waiting for them to reply to me, but you know what? If they don't like it, I'll take it out of my list. I still going to proceed with that, because I am encouraging people to go to their links, to their articles, videos, to their resources, and I'm trying to do that with the good intent of absolutely strengthening their idea of importance of art in any profession. Okay, so I know it's going to be a lot to write the things down. So what I decided to do, I will give you a quick bait, a little bit of information, and I will make sure, I'm sorry, I have to drink, it's so dry over here. And I will make sure after my video live stream will be over, I will submit those links in the comments area or in the description of the video for rebroadcast. And I will give you the name of the field and the resource underneath, okay? And you can just click on the link and go straight into their resource, straight into the information that they offer through the article, essay, or video form on YouTube. Okay, so for starters, I would like to encourage you to go and listen to the video that was posted by Des Moines Register's editorial board. So they had an interview with the former Arkansas governor, Mike Huckabee, and he was talking about importance of art and music in educational system, and how much it was regretfully done by our educational system, that they took it away from our schools, they took it away from the our children at certain time in United States. And I was not here in United States when it happened, but I see the results of that. And as I will quote Mike Huckabee, he said, quote unquote, "Creativity will drive future economy." Very powerful, like 2-minute speech. And I will highly recommend you and your students to go and watch this video. And now I will go down the list of different professions and career choices that are benefiting from arts. And after that list, I will give a Bible verse, I will pray with you, answer questions, and then I will be done with my live stream, and I will submit it as the rebroadcast, and then I will post those links. So hang on with me. So if your student's saying, oh, I will go to the law enforcement, I would like to be an FBI agent or a policeman or anything else, then here's the wonderful source that I would like to point toward. In October of 2009, Smithsonian Magazine featured an article called "Teaching Cops to See," written by Neil Hirschfeld. So in this article, Neil talks about how fine art and bringing law enforcement into the museums helps them to be more observant, to see the details in the picture that they are presented when they go to the crime scene, when they are entering a situation where they need to draw all possible information from little resources that are provided. A very powerful article written by in a Smithsonian magazine by Neil Hirschfeld. So if you will click on the link, it will give you an digital form of that article. Very recommend. So he introduces to a woman who is teaching cops, our law enforcement, and she brings them to museum, and she gives them that wonderful educational and teachable moment right inside of the museum in front of the fine art pieces. Awesome resource. Next, if your students or your child says, I'm going to be a business owner, I would like to be, a CEO in a leadership position, I want to do and handle business, I want to be entrepreneur. Another article for them will be very helpful called Arts in Business. Corporate arts-based learning. So in this article, in a website called Creativity at Work, a writer talks about art as a pathway to explore non-art topics like leadership and management in business. Very helpful resource. Next resource under business career, I will recommend to you to go to Art and Leadership article that is talking about how businessmen can learn from visual art by introducing creativity, imagination, different perspective, and how using basic principles of famous artists and how they create their art, the step-by-step process, and how they even come to the idea of what they're going to be making. Those steps are very helpful to follow for the business people, because it can teach them from unusual perspective. Another article on the business career I will recommend, next two will be videos. Stephanie Pruitt gives a TED talk on the marriage of art and business. She is a poet, and she encourages business people to take an approach of an artist and of a writer, in how she structures, how she comes to that final poem that will go out into press, that will be edited and printed for the public, how hard she works and which steps she's going through to get to that point. Very interesting TED Talk. And another YouTube video, I would like you to encourage your students to see, again, for those who are considering to be a business people. Graham Shaw gives a talk on the art of business communication, how to draw pictures to make your message stick. Now, this is a different perspective, and people get, their hands dirty by following his steps. He just explains that basic drawing of anything and how accomplish that simple basic drawing with just simple, elements of art, sort of like a doodle style drawing, how to accomplish your business task. For example, how to present your business plan or your idea to the staff or to the during the business meeting by drawing, not just by talking, not just by putting graphs on the board, but by drawing freehand little pictures and it's just a line drawing, you know, but I will recommend you, it's a short video on YouTube. The link will be submitted in my comments, and I will recommend you to see that, because it's really fun. And how far a businessman can go in presenting his idea, his approach, his new perspective to the team, if he will be drawing visual support, presenting visual support to his speech, to his presentation. And not only traditional way of PowerPoint presentation where you just pull out free images from internet, but doing it live in front of your coworkers or your bosses. Wouldn't that be awesome? So next, I will proceed to technology jobs. If your student's saying, I would like to be in computers, I want to develop games that they all want to do, seems like I want to be connected with technology, doing the websites, the digital stuff. That's my field that I want to choose and go for it. Well, you know what? Huffington Post blog offers an article written by Interpol Gruel. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name incorrectly, but it's all will be inside of that link that you can click later on. And Interpol Gruel talks about a lesson from Steve Jobs. Arts and technology education are related. That is, I don't know, I mean, who would not want to listen to what Steve Jobs has to say about technology? And when he talks about arts and technology together, it's just a green light, go use this for those students who ignoring art but want to be in technology jobs field. Next, if your students choosing career in medical field. Okay, might be a tough one. Some people might say, what is there in medical career, in medical field that can be related to art? Well, for starters, just, if they don't believe in God, it may be tough, pray for them. But if they do believe in God, then learn from Creator, okay? You're gonna be slicing bodies, you're gonna be mending wounds, you're gonna be helping people to get better in one way or another. You need to learn from Creator how it was, built, how he made those bodies, right? Human or animals, how he wonderfully, smartly put everything at the right place at the right time, so it's properly going to work. So my first link I will recommend would be an essay written by Oslo Library Board and Oslo Library Board of Curators. They wrote Observation, the Importance of Art in Medicine article. And very interesting, a very unique essay. Maybe it's like an old form, but it's a link to the printed essay. Okay, so I'm just, if you into things like this, you will definitely find interesting points in that. Now, another link under the career in medical field, I will recommend article published in Science Daily by DePaul University. Article named Arts Helps Nursing Medical Students Strengthen Observation Skills. So the same thing for the in the article in Smithsonian about how law enforcement can learn from the fine art. Over here they're talking about how art can help medical students to be more observant, to have the skills that artists use when they try to depict this world, what can be how that can be useful to the medical students, so they blend these two fields together and they teach them how to use their eyes, and not only asking questions, but how to see things that sometimes people don't see because they don't look for information, visual information, Very, very interesting article. So I will put the link on below after my broadcast will be over. Now, Forbes posted article on can studying art help medical students become better doctors? Article. So I would seriously recommend this source, Very important to see another perspective on connection between art and medical field. Next, engineering. Okay, so some students might be into engineering, who knows? I have a link in case you have a student who would like to be in that field. Now, in this particular video, this video was posted on Facebook just recently. They were talking about biomimicry. So this word describes design and production of materials modeled on biological entities and processes. What does it mean? It means that how engineers take inspiration from natural world, which we know was created by God, ultimate artist and creator and designer and architect, and how they learn from God's creation, how they learn from the natural world, how they learn from their surroundings, from the birds, animals, plants. And particularly in this video, you will see a very interesting approach that was taken by Japan's company that was building trains, high-speed trains, and how they were having a problem when the train goes through the tunnel. It had a sound that was so loud. It was like a boom, when the train enters and exits the tunnel. That boom was so loud that surrounding areas and neighborhoods were complaining. It was just too much. So what they did, they hired a specialist who was specializing in birds, and they learned from certain species how their beaks and head and body and wings are built, and they replicated it in designing the front of the train, an engine, and how that part was built, kind of, replicating, mimicking, copying something that was created by God. Because, believe it or not, he was thinking and he was putting, not only creating animals and plants and birds and people, and not thinking about how they're going to live and thrive and develop in a world, in the surroundings where they're going to be, He couldn't create a bird with the cube instead of the head and send it to fly, right? There are certain things that we sometimes even don't think about, but we need to learn when we read about stuff like this, when we watch those videos. We need to learn from those people because it's awesome. They took a nice, different approach to the problem they faced, which is another, wonderful business tactics. and they said, you know what, let's not take an opinion of another engineer or another mathematician or another person who can give us his opinion. Let's go to the biologist who, you know, can tell us what helps birds fly, what helps them to go and slice through the air, and there you can sometimes barely hear them flying, you know, only flapping their wings. How you can do these things without causing surroundings to suffer, right? We still need to have trains. We still need to send people from point A to point B. How we can do that without having problems with neighborhoods? How we can avoid that boom, that sound effect that created when something goes in with the high speed through the tunnel. So there you go. Watch this video. You will see amazingly how this is art. Okay, our creator Elohim, he is an ultimate artist. That's what artists do too. When they have an assignment of creating an art piece that has a bird and certain species of bird in it, they're not just like, oh, okay, I think it looks like this. They go and they research how these particular birds look like. They see the way the lines are formed, how the muscles are spread throughout the body, how the bones are attached. They, the very good artists, you know, the fine artists, the Renaissance era artists, they, and I'm not diminishing other artists. I'm just saying that, you know, there was a reason why, you know, Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci were, you know, working with dead bodies. They were looking how muscles are, you know, blanket the bones, how our body is structured from inside out, because whatever is under the skin definitely gonna show from our point of view, right? When we look into our body, it has bones inside. So when you drawing or sculpting the body, when you're working with different materials in order to resemble the body in a visual art way, you cannot ignore the basic physics of body, the basic, you know, building structure of body, the skeleton, the muscles, everything, the proportions of the body. So a good artist go into that length and go into, you know, probably part of the medical field, and they do those type of researches. And it's awesome. I am so proud of this engineering team that went outside of their box and looked into the ultimate, the ideas of that, you know, nature has, which we know was created by God, that we know is the perfect way of you know, going in a high speed through their atmosphere. And it's awesome. It's very fun video. Okay, so next and last, the very last link I will recommend is for students who want to be in military service. They want some type of military career, who want to serve our country, who want to make it a profession, or who just love this type of, you know, service. And my respect to them. It's an awesome and honorable place to be. And especially we just celebrated Veterans Day. My big thank you to all veterans who are watching this. Thank you so much. Even though I didn't grow up in this country, I did grow up on the stories and that was shared by the veterans in Russia who went through Second World War, who went through other little wars that they were part of, and it doesn't matter of political stuff and what countries are being involved in. I'm just talking about service of people who seriously, no matter what, they deciding to, I'm sorry, I'm checking on my page and how live stream going. They rejected their needs, and sometimes when your country in war, they just went and served their country to protect their homeland, to protect their families. And I don't care about political part right now. I just want to thank you so much for doing your service to country that you served. Thank you so much for your ultimate sacrifice. Thank you to the families who definitely suffered as well through that, and thank you to those who loved the ones in protecting our country has lost their lives. So I thank you so much, and may God bless you. But in case there are students or your children who would like to choose this as a career, now I will be talking about what happens after. During the war, I know, for example, when I was growing up in Russia, we heard a ton of wonderful inspirational stories when, the spirit of people in St. Petersburg, where I was born and grew up, were very down in the time of, we have siege. We went through a terrible, terrible losses in our city during the Second World War. And when some of our musicians or artists just decided to give what they have to the country, or give what they can, and so performing artists would go to the battlefields, to the front lines, and they would perform. They will lift up spirits of soldiers through singing or acting. We had people who would play, music instruments, and they had wonderful, orchestras who still was maybe barely moving because of hunger and cold and just, exhaustion from all of those conditions and constant worry of, am I gonna die today or tomorrow? They put their efforts together, and they had orchestras who would perform and keep our, performing arts go, and they would perform beautiful, wonderful pieces that even sometimes were dedicated to the surviving people, to the war times, and they will lift up the spirits of people. So art definitely can help those who are in military service, those who are fighting for our countries. In that way, sending them books helps, bringing musicians to where they are, or bringing, art galleries into the fields and lift them up through the visual art. But also, I need more time to research that part and give you the links on that. But the link that I have is actually concentrated on service to the veterans, so to the military people who are done serving, they're retiring, and they are veterans. They are on the other side of their military career. So Artsy posted an article called "How Art is Helping Veterans Overcome PTSD." Out of 2.6 million Americans who are in U.S. service, about between 10 to 18% come back home with post-traumatic stress disorder. And this article in artsy.net talks about how art is helping veterans to overcome PTSD. How, not just by looking into art or reading about art, but how creating art can heal hearts, can help people, can give some type of closure, can help veterans speak, because some things they can't even say, they can only create and speak through their art piece about horrific experience they went through. And I will encourage you to look into that article. Very interesting, not very long, but very helpful, again, to those people who think that if you're in a military career, art is not needed, not important. It is important, it is needed, and it needs to be part of our veterans and our military servicemen and women, and it can be a part of their life. And even if they are not retired, if they're still in the active duty, they still can enjoy through art, making art. If they don't want to make art, let art heal their heart through music, through visual art, through reading. It's wonderful how God generously gave us this support, which sometimes we don't see as support, which sometimes we see as not important part of education, and it's very sad. So all this, and the list is over for now. My list will be growing. Later, in a few months, I might add more information to this list and might inform you about that. Let me tell you one thing. So the list was actually dedicated to students or people who don't believe that art is important, who don't have any interest in art lessons, who don't care about creativity, imagination. If they will choose, and of course they will going to choose career that has nothing to do with art, they are wrong, and tell them they will find some sort of art in some different form in their career. It can be, again, a politician, or law enforcement, or leadership, business, technology, medical field, engineering, or military career. It can be helpful. It can be, and don't ignore art in where you are. You sometimes might not even realize, but there's art surrounds you. You're not meeting somewhere in the desert, right? You have interior decoration in your business space. You have clothes you're wearing that is made by clothing designers. You probably ate your food not from the tree, so there are packaging designers involved in that form. You probably, if you're a woman, put a makeup on, and that's artistic, right? There's so many things in our life that we disregard, we're not noticing it, that is part of art in one way or another. And so I would like to leave you with a Bible verse and a prayer, and I will refer you again back to Exodus chapter 35. In Exodus chapter 35, we read that God didn't give art to everybody. We all have some sort of, again, in one way or another, artistic skill, creative, nerve here or there. But as chapter 35 is talking about certain people that God chose by name, those are the people who got that artistic skill. And what I would like to encourage you is not to think that, we can teach anybody to do art. Yes, some sort of art, yes, but don't at the same time disregard that people need to have that artistic skill to do art. People need to have creative, talent going. Not everybody are writers and poets, but we all learn English language at school, right? The same thing with art. Not everybody become mathematicians or engineers. So still everybody learning math. Not everybody gonna be Olympic champions, but we all do PE at school and exercise on a daily basis. So, you know, the same with art. To the certain point, people who don't have artistic skill or artistic talent, creative, fluid in their body, then don't make them. But make them alert that they still need to be educated about art. They still need to be aware of basics of art, and they still can incorporate art in whatever they do, not even on purpose, but in one form or another form, it will be incorporated into their life. Writing resume. I mean, you think about font, you think about size of that font, the style, bold or italic, the layout on the page, the presentation, how the paper feels that used to print your resume, maybe nice folder for that resume. This is all art. And people, business people, who ordering their business cards sometimes end up deciding on their own without help of professional about all of the aspects of that business card. This is art, this is design. So if those business people who have no artistic skills, but they know basics of art and design, don't you think they will make a better choice in, quality of paper, the style of their font, the colors, all of the aspects that are included in the business? It needs to be like, we need to open eyes of people into that, okay? So that's my encouragement today. Let's not make out of kids who not artistic, let's not force art into them, but let's show them and just open their eyes that it's whatever they choose in their life, art is still will be part of that. So they have to learn about it, just basics, just like we learn math and English. I'm an artist and my first language is Russian, my second language was French, my third language is English. And by the way, I cannot say a word in French because I can keep only 2 languages in my head. But anyway, I still need to learn basics of English, right? I still need to learn how to spell words, how to build the phrases, how to create paragraphs, how to write resumes or essays. It's still, yes, so what if I don't want to be a writer? I still need to do that. Math, I'm an artist, I don't need math. Wrong. You still need math, you still cooking, you still, in cooking and sewing and creating art, the designing things in dimensions and perspective. There's the geometry comes, architecture. You need art. I create art since I was 8 years old, and first time I was paid for my art job when I was working with my father. I was 8 years old. So so what if I'm so young? Do you think it fly with me that I said I don't understand math at school? My parents said, okay, then we'll bring art into math. And they explained to me math through art. They didn't say, oh, you know what, that's right. Who cares about multiplication table? Who cares about drawing pies, and doing charts and doing all of these wonderful things and division, whatever. You know what, you're gonna be an artist, just go draw a picture. No, they said, okay, then pictures will bring art closer to you. And if I didn't understand homework, I couldn't grasp the idea of the new concept that the teachers were teaching in art, my parents drew a picture for me. And that's how I understood art, math, through art, through pictures. My kids don't need pictures to understand math, so I can't even help them in doing homework, and they actually doing well without my help. So we need to start blending those different fields of our lives together. You know, don't give up on art, but bring art into whatever students who don't care about art, who has less interest in art than anything else, bring art in a form that they can understand. And I hope the list that I gave you will be helpful. Again, I am gonna pray right now, and I will finish my live broadcast. And when I will be done with my live broadcast, I will link in comments all, and I will submit and copy and paste in my comments that information with all the links and how they relate to jobs. Let's pray. Thank you so much for being with me. I really thought I will make it short. I really trying to make like 15-20 minutes live broadcast, but sorry for me not being able to talk, you know, short and quick. Well, I hope you can stick with me till the end and get that helpful list of links. Let's pray. Please close your eyes with me. Lord Jesus, thank you so much for this opportunity to learn more about different fields, different skills and talents that people possess, and especially for art. I thank you so much for giving us this visual, help and imagination and creativity. Thank you so much for giving us the examples through the creation, through this nature that you made with your word. And thank you so much for giving us wisdom and help us to approach those who don't see art as important, and help them to see it from different perspective, and help them to see how art still influencing their choice, their career, their environment. And I just thank you so much for this wonderful thing that you created for us, and for choosing some people to be artists and some people to be in the medical field, or military, or in technology, in business. Thank you so much, because if we all will be the same, this world would be boring. And thank you so much for making us so different, so we can serve each other with our gifts. In your name I pray. Amen. Alrighty guys, I will not going to be posting and doing live broadcast next week. Next week is a Thanksgiving week. I will be celebrating with my family, and I will take my time off, very needed time off, because it's been, it really takes a lot of efforts to do 2 videos each week. My Monday art tutorials and Wednesday live broadcasts. But I love doing that. I love serving you with my gifts, and I hope you'll find it helpful, and I hope your needs in one way or another will be fulfilled with God's word, inspiration, and uplifting sources that I prepare for you. Thank you so much for being with me. If you have any questions, you can email me at mashahem@paperpaintandpalette.com. You can go to my website and see more things over there that I post. It's www.paperpaintandpalette.com. I will wish you a wonderful, safe, and happy time with your family during Thanksgiving. Not everybody in every country celebrates that wonderful holiday. It's truly American holiday, and I hope other countries celebrate sort of Harvest Day or something, and give thanks to God for everything that He gave us and provided us with. And if you're watching this live broadcast and you don't know about me doing and posting on Monday little art tutorials, I made 2 art tutorials about Thanksgiving and crafts for Thanksgiving that can be made from Christian perspective. And if you would like to check them out, they are also on my website and on YouTube and on Facebook. So just scroll down and look at them. And I would really appreciate your opinions, your likes or dislikes, and your comments, your reposts, and anything that you can kind of reflect back on what I'm saying here would be awesome and very appreciative. And I wish you to have a wonderful time with your family again. I will gonna work right now on posting that list of links that I promised. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. God bless you. Bye.